Alright, y'all, welcome to Red Pill Discourse. We got a special one today. This is going to be part one of our Saturn series. So I just wanted to get into this because we touched on this in the hard summer episode. Basically, I didn't have enough information at the time, and I didn't have enough time on that one. We couldn't really go on a rabbit hole. But now we are. Now we're about to get into the rabbit hole of Saturn.
We're about to go deep in the hole.
So basically, the goal of this series is just to bring it to people's attention. This is the first part. Like I said, I want there to be at least like probably 2 or 3. We'll see how many parts is needed as you see it whenever I present the information. But basically, this is just to present the information. I'm gonna try to keep it as factual as possible. It's gonna be really hard to like tie everything together without going to theories. But I'm gonna keep for this video, for video's sake, I'm gonna keep it the theories out of it. Let you guys decide what this all means. If it means anything, if it doesn't mean anything, if I'm just like you, and if you think I'm just drawing conclusions out of nowhere, just checking boxes that don't have to be checked, that's fine. Go ahead and another thing is we want to open a discourse in the comments. So in the comment section, if there's anything, also if there's anything I left out in the topics that I'm gonna bring up today, fill in the dots. I tried to do as much research as I could. Like I said, to keep it factual, because there's definitely a lot of places like theories that are popping up that I don't really want to get into right now. So try to keep it as factual as possible as well, and try to poke holes if you can, whatever you like to do. But basically just to spread awareness, open up discourse, and please keep an open mind, and please keep in mind that I do not believe this. I'm not that I don't believe this, but like this is not, I didn't do any of this. So don't be like coming at me like, oh, like I didn't do this. These places have been here before I was born. Like, I didn't create this. I didn't create these civilizations or these buildings or these monuments. I didn't do any of this. So don't come at me.
He's just connecting logical dots, which I have no idea what the fuck he's about to say. So I'm ready.
I'm just presenting evidence. I didn't do anything. I didn't put planets in the sky. But all right then.
You didn't?
Well, no. Let's get into it. Okay, so Saturn Series 1. Saturn. So I just put up I have some few pictures to go through. The first picture I'm gonna show Josh right here, but we're gonna pull it up right now too. So as I go through, the pictures I showed Josh are gonna actually pop up on the screen, so be ready for that. Pay attention. So Josh, as you can see here, Saturn. So what you're looking at is the top of Saturn. So you're basically looking at it from an aerial view, directly looking straight down at Saturn. That's the North Pole. So as you can see, the image. There's a black and white and a thermal image. There's a hexagon where it looks like a circle in the middle, right? Mm-hmm. So that's actually like an atmospheric storm, and that storm is actually spinning. So it's constantly moving. It's not. This is a still picture. Okay. But if you go on NASA's website, we'll actually link it at the bottom as well. We have a link for it. You can check it out yourself, live time, real time. It is actually spinning counterclockwise. So it's spinning the opposite of a clock at all times, and that's the North Pole of Saturn. Now go ahead and let's get into the South Pole. So you saw the North Pole, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Let's get in the South Pole.
Penguins.
Boom. What does that look like to you?
A nipple.
Yeah, so it's like a circular, like a circle within a circle, and that's Saturn's South Pole. So like again, another still image. I don't think this one's spinning. I haven't found any, like what the hexagon, like I said, we'll link it in the description. There's a live like spinning video of it. This one's there's only still pictures of it, so I think it's just always like this, but it basically looks like an eyeball, like a pupil.
Oh yeah, that's what it looks like.
Yeah, but so you got the eyeball, and I just wanted to point those out because it's going to be very necessary for the rest of it, and pretty interesting, right? Saturn. No, I never knew that. I never knew that they had like landmarks like that on the planet. So the next thing I want to get into,
Saturn.
Yeah, nipple Saturn. Saturn's just always watching us or flashing us, whatever you want to think of. But
we'll go with watching.
It's crazy because it's like at the South Pole, so like it just like looks down. Like if Saturn's pointing at us from the South Pole, it's just watching us. Like, yeah, that's crazy.
Okay.
So let's get into the next image I want to see. The next image is going to be basically the hexagon and the cube. So how the hexagon relates to a cube, or how it could be used. So boom, there we have it. What does that look like to you, Josh?
Looks like a hexagon, a cube, and if I'm not ignorant, the Star of David.
Yeah, so basically, the one all the way to my left is the hexagon. The next one in the middle is the cube. The cube is basically a 3D. So if you were to make a hexagon go from a 2D image to a 3D image, it'll turn into a cube. And then the Star of David is basically, I can't really explain that one too much because I was trying to look for a picture. It was just these two. But since the Star of David is on there, actually, we'll get into that later as well.
You could see it though. It's like connected, like as if you like drew and connected all 5 sides, it would make 2 upside down triangles, which formulates a Star of David around the hexagon. Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Yeah, or a pentagram. Whatever.
Pentagram, yeah.
Yeah. So we just want to show you guys that why a cube can be associated with the hexagon. It basically is a hexagon, just in a different dimension. So the next thing we're going to get into, or the second phase, so that was the first, is just to show you Saturn, what's going on with the planet itself. The second is going to be the Kaaba. So let's get into that. Go ahead. Just going to give you a brief description of the Kaaba, what it is. We touched on it in the Hard Summer when we were talking about it. It's a black cube in Saudi Arabia. It's the Mecca. So I'm going to read what it is. So the Kaaba is a building at the center of Islam's most important mosque in Mecca, Saudi Arabia. It is the most sacred site in Islam. It is considered by Muslims to be the Balt Allah. I'm not going to read all that, but for Muslims around the world when performing. So basically, it's their most sacred site. Like it's Muslims' most sacred site.
Isn't that the direction that they pray into? Like you always have to pray towards the direction of Mecca? Did I make that up?
I believe so, yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry, go ahead. I was just trying to like formulate thoughts in my brain.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you always have to pray. I don't know. We'll look that. Someone fact check us on that one. But go ahead and pull up the picture of Mecca, please, or the Kaaba. So as he's pulling that up, some more facts about the Kaaba basically is that it's a black cube. Everybody, all the Muslims have to make a pilgrimage there, and when they get to the Kaaba, the goal is to touch it, but also something interesting that they have to do is they have to circle the Kaaba counterclockwise 7 times. So my thing is, so here this is the picture that we're gonna pull up. So as you can see, everybody's circling around it. They go around it 7 times. So the thing is that they're spinning around the same direction as the storm that's going on in Saturn. And also they have to do it 7 times. And there's 7 rings on Saturn. So there's a connection right there as well. So the cube is already representative of the hexagon. Mm-hmm. And then them having to spin around the Kaaba counterclockwise is representative of the hexagon. And then the 7 times is also representative of Saturn. So we're just basically drawing
connecting
dots with this.
Okay, makes sense so far. Interesting.
So that's probably the most famous black cube on the planet, but there are more black cubes. That's not the only black cube where stuff like that is happening. So here we go right here, this picture. This is in Astor Place. It's called the Alamo. This is in Manhattan. This is in New York City. So as you can see, it's a cube. And then also a lot of these cubes, they have circles or like holes on the top of them. So obviously this cube is tilted, but if you were to take it and place it flat, it'll have a hole in the center. Which also Saturn does. In the hexagon, there's a middle, there's like a black little hole, circular. This cube right here is from Denmark. This cube right here, another one. This one's not black, but it's red. And also has a hole in the middle of it.
Where's that one from?
I'm not sure where that one's from. This one right here is actually close, so it's close to us. This one's
that's in Irvine.
Yeah.
That's Santa Ana. Mm-hmm. That's the Santa Ana. That is the Discovery Cube of Orange County.
Yeah. Went there for a field trip when I was little.
Why?
Yes, sir.
Why? I don't know, because
Well, no, not why, but like why is it a cube?
Oh, nice.
No, I'm just saying. So the reason why I'm pointing this out is because it just seems, not that it seems like anything, right? So I don't want to get into like why this is happening. I'm just letting you know that there are more cubes all over the earth. It's not just in one place. It's not just Islam. So the next one I'm going to show you is it's not just Islam, right? So you could be like, oh, maybe it's just the Muslims. They have this weird thing with cube. It's a coincidence. It's just like that. Go ahead and show them the Jewish Orthodox Jews, what they do with cubes.
Which one?
It's gonna be the picture of the guy with the curly hair with the little cube on his forehead. So it's not just Islam and it's not just random monuments that we have all over the planet in different places, but Orthodox Jews, which basically is a sect of Judaism, they're kind of like comparable to Amish, where they live very like different lives from everybody else. Anyways, not to get into that. But during the weekdays, they have to put this cube on their head for prayer and also wrap a black band around their arm. I don't know how many times. I think it's like 7, something like that. Well, we could look it up, but...
So that thing just stays on his head.
Yeah, so they have the black cube on their head.
That's funny.
While they're praying. And then supposedly during the weekdays, they have to do it.
Is he related to Ice Cube?
Why you say that?
Just I'm being stupid.
Oh, but why Ice Cube?
Because his name has
Ice
a cube.
That's weird you brought that up because never mind. Ice Cube basically tweeted about all this stuff and they called him anti-Semitic because he was also drawing the same conclusions, the Saturn worship.
Oh shit!
That's why I thought you brought it up.
Oh no!
No, he started posting pictures like this as well.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Oh shit! He's woke.
Ice Cube is woke. And they started calling him anti-Semitic. Shout out Ice Cube, yo. He knows what's up.
Hell yeah, he just sent that little plug-in for me like telepathically.
Anyways, but like I said, not trying to draw conclusions. I don't know what's going on. I'm not trying to say I know what's going on.
And I have zero clue.
We have the Muslim religion already involved with black cubes and this whole thing with cubes. And I'm trying to show you that there's a connection with cubes and Saturn. Now we have all these other global cubes popping up, monuments around the world. And like busy places around the world where people congregate, people are walking by, energy is being transferred. You got the Jews basically using it as a tool to pray, to worship. Mm-hmm. And then also there's a weird correlation with like a lot of corporate logos. Like a lot of corporations like to use logos of Saturn. It's like and you could say like, oh, Saturn's like the most popular planet. I think there was a poll done. Like, I don't even know who does polls. Like, that's another thing is like who really, I never met anyone in my life who fucking takes polls. So I don't know if these polls are made up, but I guess there was a poll done in the United States and like the most popular planet is Saturn. So that could be the reason why there are a bunch of corporate logos of Saturn. But can you go ahead and pull that picture up of just some examples?
Wait, and then one other thing that you said that was like coincidence is that like how they actually like swirl the cube while they're worshiping, like that atmospheric storm does.
Yeah, they swirl it the same direction, counterclockwise.
Yeah.
The exact same direction. And they do it 7 times.
Okay, it's interesting.
And not that the storm does it 7 times. The storm never stops.
So I'm on this one?
Yeah, that one. So this is some examples of some logos and their correlations to Saturn. There's a lot of logos that have a lot of Saturn influence, I guess. There's even like the Saturn car company. You know what I mean? And then it was hard for me to find pictures of separating them, but there are also a lot of companies too, if you look into it, that have cubes. It's like GameCube, Gateway. There's also a lot of companies that use the cube as like a pretty common symbol for their corporations. But basically, the reason why I'm showing you all this is just to show you that it is around us everywhere. If you like look around, you see it in monuments. You see it like basically landmarks, religion, culture. You can see it anywhere. Like if you really look into it. But like I said, I'm not getting into why or why I think why. But let's keep going with it. So right now we see it in the Muslim religion, obviously, and you see it going on in the Jewish religion. But what about the others? So the big 3 is basically Muslim, Jewish, and Christianity, right? So Christianity, those are like the three biggest religions in the world. I know there's Buddhism and Hinduism are also very big as well. Not gonna get into those for the sake of my point. But let me see what else I have right here real quick. You have any questions so far?
No, I'm like thoroughly engaged. You got me hanging on the end of my seat.
Okay, cool. So, like I said, those are just two examples. I'm sure, like if you really want to look into, especially Judaism and the Kabbalah, and start getting into like sacred geometry and geometric figures and the flower of life, and some of you will know what I'm talking about. And some of you probably never heard this before. You can go down a deeper rabbit hole and pertaining to cubes and geometry, but
it's really just about how deep you want to go in that hole.
yeah, basically. But Saturn has even greater roots in Christianity. So getting into my next point, or my next part of the...
Shout out to my homie Jesus Cross.
All right. So Rome / Saturnia. So just to like intro this part of the podcast, getting into Rome, because Rome was a very big part. Obviously, if you don't know, Rome founded or had a really big part in founding Christianity as a religion. They also adopted it as their main religion. But they're also the ones that are acclaimed to have killed Jesus. They also, if you know of history, they also persecuted Christians for a long time. They persecuted Jews. Mm-hmm. They went on a, what would you say, a campaign? What's the word you would use for like all the people that they went and just started?
Like crusaders?
All the people they crucified. Remember how they crucified Jesus? He wasn't the only one. They were going around.
Oh, yeah. That was
they crucified like hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, that was like the thing to do. Because I remember, and this is like totally uneducated, but just I remember watching like Passion of the Christ when that came out. There was other people crucified up there with him, like before he got there, right? So that was something to do. Yeah. So they went around doing that.
The Romans,
and that was done by the Romans. Yeah.
Yeah. The Romans started all that. So, they have, obviously the Romans have very big ties to Christianity and the Catholic Church and all that stuff. So just wanted to say that. And then also another thing that I should point out is that Saturn, this is like, so the thing is with these facts that I'm about to bring up now is that this is like historical facts, and they come from like Roman mythology and other mythologies of from like Europe, Southeast Asia, like all different parts of the world. And the thing with mythologies and like history is that like people can change history. So you can't really you have to take this with a grain of salt, because a lot of these are interpretations, and a lot of these could be taken as like, a lot of times civilizations will take over other civilizations and the winner writes the history. So it's like, is this 100% fact? You can't really say that with such ancient times, but it seems like it's well reported, and it seems like a lot of people are saying a lot of the same stuff. So that's what we're gonna go off of. But Saturn is referred to as the god of 1,000 names. So basically Saturn is symbolized, and also there are many mythologies about Saturn. Many ancient civilizations have considered Saturn to be a god. In Egypt, Saturn is referred to as Ra. In Semitic religions, which is Jewish, Hebrew, Saturn is referred to as El. El is referred to as the king of gods. In the Celtic myth, Saturn is referred to as the Lord of the Rings. And also through Celtic tradition, that's I guess that's where the tradition, go ahead and look this up, fact check me please in the comments. I guess that's where the tradition of giving rings for engagement comes from. The Celtic people started that. Also I guess like a bunch of civilizations, the Romans and everybody started doing it. The Romans did it for another reason, but the Celtics did it to basically worship Saturn.
Celtic is like Middle East Europe, right?
I think that's isn't it like Ireland, Scotland, and all that. I don't know. I don't really know. It's like European.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
It's European something. I don't know too much about European history. Sorry.
Sucks to suck.
But yeah. So those are just a couple examples of some ancient religions that worship Saturn. But the one civilization that everyone is mostly familiar with, Greek mythology. So Greek mythology links Saturn to the Titan Kronos. So Kronos was the god of agriculture and also the god of time. So Kronos in the Greek mythology was always depicted as an old man. Sometimes he would have a scythe. The scythe would represent the harvest, god of agriculture, but he was also simultaneously the god of time. So he would be represented as an old man. So just real quick, this will tie in later to maybe not this video, but it'll definitely come in the next videos. Kronos in Greek mythology was a Titan. So he was a Titan who like married his sister, and he ended up having
Was he from Alabama?
He was also Alabama shit for sure. But he basically marries his sister, and they had children. But he had a dream or he had a vision where one of his children would rise against him one day. So he started eating his children. So he became the Titan, and he was known for eating his own offspring. So his wife / sister, to save one of the children, which ended up being Zeus, she hid him. So she hid him his whole life, and then Zeus grew up, became powerful, went back, killed Kronos to stop the whole, he was still eating all his children. And that's when the power shifted from Titans to gods, and then Zeus became but Kronos was the Titan of Titans, like the king of kings. Like he was like the top spot until Zeus came back and took over.
Oh yeah, that makes sense because Zeus is the one that locked away all the Titans.
And this is what you gotta understand too, is that with most of these mythologies, these stories and myths, they all like have different characters in them, but they all basically have the same story. Mm-hmm. There was something who like some kind of symbol. In this case, it was Kronos that was on top, and this other symbol comes and takes over, and basically now this is Zeus is now the reigning symbol. So there's all kinds of mythologies from like Africa, Egypt. They all have the same story, just different characters. So just need to get into that. Kronos was very is going to be very relevant, especially for when I start getting into Rome and their mythology. But it's good to remember Kronos ate his children, depicted as an old man, father time, the scythe, and then I might be leaving something else out, but hopefully. And then also in the Greek mythology, it started with Greek mythology, but it keeps going on, is considered to be the ruler of the North Pole.
The fucking North Pole?
The North Pole. So he's an old man that rules the North Pole. Keep that in mind.
Okay.
All right, on to the next. We're still on Rome here. Sorry, I just had to set that all up.
You're good.
Saturnus. So Saturnus was the Roman god for Saturn, who was also the god of agriculture, which was adopted from the Greek god Cronus. The Temple of Saturn still has columns standing currently today. You can still go to Italy today and see ruins of the temple. The temple was so big that they still have columns that are still standing to this day from like thousands and thousands of years ago. So that's how like much they took this serious. Like they really like worshiped this. Like they were not playing. The next thing, Saturnia. There is a Roman city that is still inhabited today in Italy, not Rome anymore, but Italy. A Roman city that's still inhabited today named Saturnia. Just want to let you know that. So not only do they have the Temple of Saturn, but they even had a whole city. It was like a huge city. It was like, it's not like a little like town or village. It's a pretty big city. That they named after Saturn, called Saturnia. Not only did they have Saturnus as the god, the Temple of Saturn, the Saturnia, the city, but they worshiped Saturn so much, or they held him in such high regard, they had their own festival and holiday. So getting into Saturnalia. So go ahead and pull up the Saturnalia article, please.
Yeah.
So just some facts. Again, I'm probably going to read over it again in this article, just some facts while he's pulling it up. So Saturnalia was originally started on December 17th. It was a day-long feast celebrated to commemorate the planting of crops. Like I said, Saturn or Saturnus was the god of agriculture. In time, it was extended until December 25th. During the days of Festival of Saturnalia, festivities included slaves and masters exchanging roles, moral restrictions were loosened, and let me just read the article. The article gets really into depth. So
I feel really smart right now.
the Saturnalia was an enduring Roman festival dedicated to the agricultural god Saturn, which was held between the 17th and 23rd of December each year during the winter solstice. Originating from archaic agricultural rituals, the Roman festivities came to include general round of gift-giving, merrymaking, and role reversals, so that it became one of the most popular celebrations in the calendar and certainly the jolliest. The similarities of some of its features and timing, pushed later into December over time, suggest a strong influence on the Christian celebration of Christmas. Go down. Saturn. The focus of Saturnalia and the god who gave his name to the festival was Saturn, or Saturnus, who was something of a mystery figure in Roman religion. Depictions of the god surviving art have him wearing a veil and brandishing either a sickle, like Cronus, or a pruning knife, suggesting a close relation with agriculture, and especially seed growing or seed corn. With links to indigenous Italian deities and perhaps too a version of the Greek god Kronos, he was regarded as a primordial deity who had taught humanity important agricultural skills. He was thought to have ruled when the world enjoyed a golden age of prosperity and happiness, hence the general frivolity of his festival. So real quick before I keep going, that's also going to come up later. It may not come up in this video, but just keep this in mind. He was thought to have ruled when the world enjoyed a golden age of prosperity and happiness. Just keep that in mind. We'll come back to that. Saturnalia Festival. Despite claims that the festival began at the beginning of the 5th century BC, there is evidence it began much earlier. The Saturnalia enjoyed great longevity, for it was famously described in the 5th century work of this. It was famously described in the 5th century. Was selected as a setting for his dialogue. Blah blah. Go down. Go past this video. Starting off as a one-day holiday, the Saturnalia eventually expanded to cover a week by the late Republic. During Saturnalia, there was a general round of feast, partying, game playing, and merrymaking for all. Saturnalia was presided over by a king chosen especially for this occasion, known as the Saturnalius Precipice, or leader of Saturnalia. Sometimes he is referred to as the Lord of Misrule, and he was selected from the lowliest members of the household and given the right to conduct. So basically, they would have a role reversal where slaves would be catered to, like if they were the masters, and the masters would have to cater to the slaves. And then also, anyone could be picked as the king or Saturn, whatever, the king of Saturnalia. So basically, every year there'd be a different king. Someone got to be king, and they would have to go around and do a bunch of like crazy stuff, basically. Also, so basically, it was a feast. It started as one day, and then it got stretched out from the 17th all the way to the 25th. And it was so popular that it only took probably like 50 years, something like that, for it to get stretched out to a whole week. And then like everybody loved this festival, like everybody would partake in it. And I guess it became really famous for like just anything would go down. Like they would do. Let's see if they get into it.
Y'all nasty like me.
Keep going.
We'll get into what they used to do, because we're gonna tie it up to some more. Keep going up though. I'm gonna go back. I'm trying to read that. One peculiarity of Saturnalia was not merely the relaxing but reversal of ordinary rules and social conventions, whereby, for example, masters would wear the freed slaves' felt hat and wait on their slaves, or at least eat together in the same room, who were permitted to do as they wish and even display a touch of insolence. This element of the festival is perhaps a safety valve designed to release the social pressures built up over the year within Roman society's strict social conventions. The end of celebrations was marked by the buying and giving of candles, such as trifles as jellied figs, and especially the small terracotta figurines, which were on sale in the special market. The fair gave its name to the last day of the festivities and was traditional for people to give money to their dependents so that they could buy the cheap goods on offer there. So basically, they would also exchange gifts in the last couple of days of the festival. Go ahead and go down. This is where the Temple of Saturn ties into Saturnalia. So the focal point of Saturnalia Festival was a temple dedicated to Saturn in the northwest corner of the Forum of Rome. The first shrine to the god was the Ara Saturni. This was replaced by the temple built by the dictator Titus. This structure itself was replaced by the 4th century. Wait, I don't know why they're giving me the whole history of this, but within the temple once stood a cult statue of Saturn, which became the center of attention during Saturnalia, when his feet were symbolically freed from woolen bonds that tied him up for the rest of the year. Another manifestation of the role reversal for the celebrations. This act led to Saturn being associated with liberation. Certainly a prominent feature of the Saturnalia Festival when the stifling Roman social conventions, if only for a week, were thrown to the winter winds. So basically, at the start of the festival, so on the 17th, they would symbolically loosen the chains off the statue to symbolize that basically society is changing. Like things are getting loosened, things are getting thrown out the window, and that's where it starts, and that's where Saturn also gets tied in with being liberators or a liberator. Cool. Hold on. Any questions?
No, but I had like a come to Jesus moment.
Okay.
And I was like connecting the dots in my head for all the things that you said. Keep that at the top of your head.
Yeah. So basically, Saturnalia, as I don't know if you guys noticed, but it's around the same time Christmas, right?
Yeah.
This is obviously before Christmas because this is the golden age of Rome before Christianity was even developed. This is before the death of Christ. So this had already been going on before there was a Christ. The same days, the same kind of traditions, the gift giving, the merrymaking, they even call it the jolliest of holidays. Actually, just fun fact, I learned about this when I was like 12 or 11. I actually learned about this watching the Boondocks. So I don't know if you guys remember, there was a show. I don't know if it was Adult Swim?
Adult Swim.
Adult Swim was about some black kids. And, no, seriously, it was about a family.
Yeah.
And one black kid was like ghetto and like Riley. His name was Riley. And then the other one was named Huey, but he was like a revolutionary. So he basically was like woke, and like he was just like he was just apart from the Matrix, you know? So like there was an episode where he spoke about it. I guess there was like a little girl. Did you remember the light skin girl?
Yeah.
The little light skin girl was all excited talking to Huey like, oh hey, the Christmas play's coming up. Like, do you want to go see it with me or blah blah blah? And he was just like, why would I do that? It's like it's not even really Christmas. And then he went and broke it down how Saturnalia is actually Christmas, and that's how I found out about it. And I was like, what? Because they started talking about how like basically, Christmas was started in Rome. And politicians would go and get drunk and fuck each other. Like men would fuck each other, and like there would be like basically like it was just a big old party of debauchery going on, heathenism at its best. And I was like, why do they say that? You know, because like that's a weird thing to say. It's so like that's so specific.
Yeah.
So I went and did my research, and that's how I actually found out about Saturnalia. And that's actually so another thing to note that, and like I said, I didn't make this up. I didn't start Rome. I didn't start these pagan religions. I didn't start Christianity. I don't know what to tell you. Don't come at me.
I did.
Don't come at me. I'm just letting you know. Also, if you think I'm bullshitting or you think this is all false, go ahead and look up where Easter comes from. So Easter was actually the first. If you look, fact check me. Easter was actually the first and main holiday celebrated by Christians because it represented Christ rising. They didn't even start celebrating Christmas until they had to adopt it into the Christian religion because the people didn't want to give up Saturnalia. They were like, look, I forgot what emperor it was. I believe it was one of them with a C. Anyways, it doesn't matter which emperor, but the emperor that made the Romans adopt Christianity had such a hard time pulling them away from Saturnalia, which is considered a pagan holiday, that they had to adopt it into the Christian religion. And that's what it became.
Was it Caesar?
No.
You said C.
I said C, but it wasn't C. It was Maybe I wrote it down. Well, anyways, I just want to let you know about that's how I found out. That's how I found out about it. I found out about it when I was like basically a child.
False.
And I looked it up. And you can look it up too. If you don't believe me, you can look all this up. Also, like I said, Easter is also a pagan holiday. So Easter didn't start with Christ either. Easter actually...
It started with the Easter Bunny.
Yeah, no, it started... That's why there is an Easter bunny, because it's a pagan festival for fertility. And the bunny represents fertility because... I don't know if you know about rabbits.
Oh, yeah, they say like Mexicans fuck like rabbits.
Yeah, they
have so many
multiply.
kids.
They're just very fertile.
We're strong.
So they're... I don't know his types of Mexicans, but yeah. Easter also comes from
What do you mean? Because they say...
Most of these... So basically what I'm saying is most of these Christian religions come from pagan holidays.
Yeah. Makes sense.
So... Temple of Saturn... Yeah, so Saturnalia was later turned into Christmas when the Roman Empire adopted Christianity as the main religion. Boom. So the reason why I had to go into all that in Rome is another thing, right? So they eventually created Christianity, like I'm saying, and they created all this. They created everything. They created the saints. They created the symbols. They also created the Catholic Church. So one of the symbols. Can you go ahead and pull up the symbol? Obviously the biggest symbol of Christianity is the cross. So why did I go into this big old deal about? Well, obviously Saturnalia, right? So the whole thing's about Saturn. So Saturnalia is a whole festival honoring Saturn, but also the Romans who developed Christianity. The cross is the symbol for Christianity. If you fold the cross, so basically if you fold all four beams, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Just if you look at the figure, you fold it all together and you
enclose it.
You enclose it, it becomes a cube.
Coincidence?
So it could basically be correlated to cube worship as well. So basically, if you think about it like that, the cross is also basically it's just a flattened cube.
Yeah,
it's like a 2D. Cube. It's another form of a 2D cube. So there's that. Like I said, I'm not going into why. I don't know. I'm not saying I didn't make this up. I'm just letting you know what I found. Don't come at me.
Google, bitch.
And I'm not trying to say what religion's right or religion's wrong. Don't be putting words in my mouth either. I'm not saying none of that. All right, next we're going to get into the history of Christmas and how Christmas went from, basically I already talked about it a little bit already, how Christmas went from Saturnalia to Christmas, basically Christ's Mass. That's why it's called Christmas, because it had to get changed. They had to put Christ in the name instead of Saturn. So I'm going to go ahead and read this article. So in the early years of Christianity, Easter was the main holiday. The birth of Jesus was not celebrated. In the 4th century, church officials decided to institute the birth of Jesus as a holiday. Unfortunately, the Bible does not mention date for his birth, a fact Puritans later pointed out in order to deny the legitimacy of the celebration. Although some evidence suggests that his birth may have occurred in the spring, why would shepherds be herding in the middle of the winter? Pope Julius I chose December 25th. It is commonly believed that the church chose this date in an effort to adopt and absorb the traditions of the pagan Saturnalia Festival. First called the Feast of Nativity, the custom spread to Egypt by 432 and to England by the end of the 6th century. So basically it took like 500 years for them to 500 years after the death of Christ to finally adopt Saturnalia and make it go from a pagan festival into Christianity. So by holding Christmas at the same time as the traditional winter solstice festival, church leaders increased the chances that Christmas would be popularly embraced, but gave up on the ability to dictate how it was celebrated. By the Middle Ages, Christianity had, for the most part, replaced pagan religion. On Christmas, believers attended church, then celebrated raucously in a drunken carnival-like atmosphere similar to today's Mardi Gras. Each year, a beggar or student would be crowned the Lord of the Misrule, basically, which is the old Lord of Saturnalia or the King of Saturnalia. Same tradition. And eager celebrants played the part of his subjects. The poor would go to the houses of the rich and demand the best food and drink. If owners failed to comply, their visitors would most likely terrorize them with mischief. Christmas became the time of the year when the upper classes could repay their real or imagined debt to society by entertaining the less fortunate. Go in and go down. Was that it? There's more, right?
Yeah, there's more.
Just a comment real quick though, because it's kind of just like cycling in my head. Like, just an observation is like as like societies and civilizations fall, like those type of traditions get passed on. So I think to that point you said earlier, it makes sense why I'm sure by this time the Roman Empire was like towards the end, if not had already crumbled and faltered. And so at that point Christianity rose, and then they probably adopted that into Christianity because they liked it so much. It got passed down.
Yeah, at this, like just like you're saying, so at this point, like 500 AD, the Roman Empire is already done. It's already way past its day. It's basically now the core of Christianity left the Roman Empire, which is now modern day Italy, and is now migrating to like other parts of Europe. So like how they're saying that like by the Middle Ages, it's a big part of English. Like I said, I don't know about Europe that much. I can't be telling you guys everything. But
English, Egyptian, yeah, like
not Egyptian. Egyptian's in Africa.
oh, I thought you said Egyptian.
No, European.
Oh, okay, my bad.
It's say so like it migrated from where Rome was and just spread all over Europe. Let's just say like that. They became a big part of Europe, and they tried getting rid of the pagan traditions, but they could not. They had to absorb Saturnalia into the Christian religion
Because it was so popular.
So that's what happened.
Okay, makes sense.
So this says this is the same article, but this is just another paragraph, and it says it's titled "When Christmas Was Cancelled." In the early 17th
Cancel culture. Sorry.
In the early 17th century, a wave of religious reform changed the way Christmas was celebrating. In the early 17th century, a wave of religious reform changed the way Christmas was celebrated in Europe. When Oliver Cromwell and his Puritan forces took over England in 1645, they vowed to rid England of decadence, and as a part of their effort, canceled Christmas. By popular demand, Charles II was restored to the throne, and with him came the return of the popular holiday. The Pilgrims, the English separatists that came to America in 1620, were even more orthodox in their Puritan beliefs than Cromwell. As a result, Christmas was not a holiday in early America. From 1659 to 1681, the celebration of Christmas was actually outlawed in Boston. Anyone exhibiting the Christmas spirit was fined 5 shillings. By contrast, in the Jamestown settlement, Captain John Smith reported that Christmas was enjoyed by all and passed without incident. After the American Revolution, English customs fell out of favor, including Christmas. In fact, Christmas wasn't declared a federal holiday until June 26, 1870. So like it took the 19th century for it to even be declared a national holiday. So it was basically canceled because of how crazy it was. The Puritans and the rest of the separatists like they just didn't want. It was so rowdy. They were like the Amish today, right? They didn't want no part of that. They looked at it as like sin. They didn't want no part of it. Go ahead and go down the article. Scroll down, please.
You think you're better than me? I'm just trying to stay relevant right now.
Yeah.
Y'all rocking with me though.
Go back. Stop. Go down. So yeah, so right here. So from my knowledge or what I got from this, Christmas was outlawed and it didn't become popular again, like I said, till the 19th century. And one of the biggest roles that had for it to gain popularity again after it had been outlawed was A Christmas Carol. So also around this time, English author Charles Dickens created the classic holiday tale, A Christmas Carol. The story's message the importance of charity and goodwill towards all humankind struck a powerful chord in the United States and England and showed members of the Victorian society the benefits of celebrating the holiday. So basically, this man, Charles Dickens, wrote The Christmas Carol and brought it back. And that's when it came back and became the Christmas that we know today. Came like very corporate, very like family oriented. It wasn't about getting like just, I mean, people get drunk on Christmas still, but it wasn't like about, it kind of left on another like.
It left all the debauchery and they try to make it more pure and like wholeheartedness.
Yeah, scroll down a little bit. Let's see what else it has. This might be the end of it. Go down some more. Down, down, down.
It's going down, 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 and down.
All right, stop. Yeah, so here are some Christmas facts. So in the Middle Ages, Christmas celebrations were rowdy and precocious, a lot like today's Mardi Gras parties.
Fact.
Christmas was canceled from 1659 to 1681.
Fact.
Christmas outlawed in Boston.
Fact.
Christmas was declared a federal holiday June 26, 1870.
Fact.
So basically from 1681 to 1870, it was not an official holiday. And in some parts of the United States and probably England, you were not allowed to celebrate it.
It was a no-no.
All right. So we're done with this article. So just to sum that up, sorry guys, there are a lot of articles and I'm trying to keep up with everything. But just to sum that up, so the history of Christmas comes from Saturnalia, the festival, the pagan festival. And this just to show you how we got to Christmas, how we got to it today, like why Christmas is the way it is today. Trying to stay as factual as possible. Next, we're gonna get into. We're probably gonna end it around here because this keeps on going. We're gonna keep on going with this. Obviously, that's why I want to make more parts. But go ahead and pull up the history of Santa. So Santa Claus.
Old Saint Nick.
Stop right there. So according to this article, it says that Santa is simply another version of the pagan god Saturn. So the name Saint Nicholas may have been borrowed from a Catholic saint named Nicholas, but as we have so often seen, the pagan ritual merely adopted a new name with a new perceived meaning. The Santa myth was grown from the pagan root of Saturnalia, one of the common Saturnalian customs reported by all known sources on the subject. Hold on real quick, Paul, can you zoom in? Because I can like barely see this font. Go, okay. No, go back.
Ask Santa for some glasses.
Yeah. Go that. So that whole part, that whole article. Yeah, there you go. All right, there. Stop. Thank you. One of the common Saturnalian customs reported by all known sources on the subject was the practice of social inversion. The social hierarchy was turned on its head during the feast. The roles were reversed based upon social status. Slaves were served by their masters, and on the surface, everyone was seen as equal during Saturnalia. Part of the social inversion involved selecting a person of low social standing and elevating them to the status of mock king. So we already went all over all this, the Lord of Misrule, everything like that. This Santa Claus was no other than the Lord of Misrule, the master of Christmas Carnival. So basically Santa, what they're saying is simply another version of the pagan god Saturn, was another interpretation of the Lord of Misrule, which is basically the person who was supposed to be overlooking the whole Saturnalia Festival.
Back in the Roman times.
Yep. Okay, zoom out again, or so I can see, and then scroll down. Okay, there you are. There, stop right there. So, yeah, so right here, stop. As surely as Santa is said to travel through the heavens on a sleigh pulled by reindeer, Saturn is also said to have traveled through the heavens on a quadriga, a Roman chariot, pulled by horses, or in some cases winged serpents. The Roman coin from the 2nd century BC shows Saturn being pulled by horses. The painting by Raphael shows Saturn being pulled through the clouds by winged serpents. So in this article, they have pictures of actually on the coins. There's a man in a chariot being depicted being pulled by this stuff, and then also there's pictures showing this. So we're gonna link the article, so go ahead and check the article out. Scroll down, please. Past the pictures.
And so Santa and his
Right here,
reindeer
stop.
and his sleigh was derived from that.
Yes.
Okay.
Derived from
This depiction of Saturn.
yes.
Okay. Interesting.
Some who study the subject of Santa find a connection to the other pagan deity named Thor. Just like I said, they refer to Saturn as the god of 1,000 names because he comes up in almost every mythology, ancient mythology. Historians too have on occasion linked the myths of Saturn with those of Thor. Both rode through the heavens on a cart pulled by animals. Saturn was pulled by serpents or horses. As we have just seen, Thor was said to ride through the heavens on a cart pulled by goats. The myths of both pagan deities also involve serpents. Saturn is sometimes depicted with serpents, not only those which pull him through the skies, but he is also sometimes depicted with serpents by his side or intertwined in a circle about his image. Thor is often depicted doing battle with a serpent. The similarities do not end at the mythical acts embraced by both these pagan deities. One can also easily see the resemblance in the depictions. Saturn, Thor, and Santa Claus, which have become so familiar to us today, are usually depicted as older men with flowing beards. It has also been common in pagan circles to adopt the deities of other nations and rename them. Exactly as modern society has adopted the image of Saturn and renamed him Santa or Saint Nicholas, so also could a previous religion have mingled the myths of Saturn and Thor. As surely as there are variations of pagan deities associated with Saturn throughout the world, there are also many variations of Santa Claus throughout the world. Some of these are very different than what is commonly seen in the US, as the following quote will illustrate. So real quick before I get into the quote, let's just digest what that just said. So what they're saying is just how people have mixed up Saturn with Thor. Santa could also be the representation of Saturn because it's just a depiction that got mixed up through the time. Because like I said, just like Kronos is depicted as an old man, who's also Saturn in Greek mythology, Thor is like, I believe Celtic. I don't know exactly what mythology Thor is from, but also depicted as an older man. The sleigh, the animals pulling the sleigh. There's just so many different correlations and connections they're making here. So just need to go through that real quick. So here's this quote real quick. Sorry, this article is very long, but it has a lot of information. So, in various parts of Germany, Switzerland, and Austria, St. Nicholas is mimed as a man dressed up as a bishop. In Tyrol, children pray to the saint on his eve and leave out hay for his white horse and a glass of schnapps for his servant. And St. Nicholas points to a terrible form that stands behind him with a rod. The hideous Klaboff, a shaggy monster with horns, black face, fiery eyes, long red tongue, and chains that clank as he moves. So, scroll down a little bit, Paul.
Seems demonic.
Yep. Go down a little bit more, or go up.
That was a very dry yep.
So in the myths surrounding Saturn, there seems to be a common theme of the serpent either serving or at least being seen with the pagan god. Christians recognize the serpent as a representation of Satan. Now in the above quote, we will see the sidekick of Saturn's descendant take on another common image of Satan. Horns, fiery eyes, long red tongue, and clanking chains. There seems to be a connection between Santa and Satan in most of all, if not all, of the variations of mythical gift giver which appears around the world. The connection appears very obvious in some, such as the hideous Klaboff mentioned above with the horns, fire eyes, long red tongue, and chains. Others are much more subtle, as in the case with the American version of Santa. The Santa commonly recognized by children in the U.S. is a jolly old man who welcomes children to his knee, but the connection to Satan is still there with the name itself. The word Santa is a true anagram to the word Satan. The transfer from Satan to Santa requires only the movement of the letter N from one end to the middle of the word. This may seem trivial in today's world, but there was a great value placed on an anagram in times past, which the following quote reveals. Great value was in the ancient times attached to the anagram on the supposition that indicated something of importance in the character of or history or fate of the person from whose name it was formed. So basically you're saying that Santa is an anagram of the word Satan. And that's where, and Satan is also depicted here because I guess there's a correlation between the god Thor, the Roman god, and then like snakes and serpent. And that's how these symbols started coming up with the name Satan as well. So I don't know if I want to keep going into all this right now. I just want to introduce where like all like the Christmas came from and Saturnalia and the word Santa and Satan, and just like bring that up. For the most part, we're just gonna end it right here at part 1. Like I said, we're not getting into any theories or why is this or why is that. Just wanted to show you that was some mostly facts. I feel like
Setting the stage.
The next video is gonna focus on Satan. We're gonna get more into Satan. I just wanted to pull it up that there's a correlation between Santa and Satan. We're gonna concrete those a little bit more, and then we're gonna get into Satan and the ties into the Roman Catholic Church, and then get into like the modern day Pope, Vatican, and basically just like how I did with modern day Christmas and ancient time Saturnalia, basically tie it from like ancient how the basically Catholic Church started to like now and like what's going on with the Catholic Church. So that'll be part 2. So stay tuned for that. Do you have anything to say, Josh? You have any questions? What do you think about all this, Paul? Did you know any of this?
I knew none of this.
What do you think?
It's fucking weird.
It's weird, right?
It's interesting. Like, I felt like I was on a roller coaster the whole time. I really like how, like, I mean, now that I've been, like, digested all the information, it's definitely interesting to see how you can make all those connections. I feel like we connected dots very logically, and things do interplay.
And hey, maybe they're not connected. I'm just showing you just some. I thought this was interesting. That's why I brought it up during the hard summer thing, because I remember reading it somewhere about the cube and its and someone was like, "Oh, it's Saturn," and I was like, "How does it have anything to do with Saturn?"
Yeah.
And then when I looked into it, I was like, "Oh fuck! It actually there is a hexagon on Saturn, and it does rotate counterclockwise, and they do it 7 times. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's what really brought my whole interest into this.
It's hard to ignore,
and it's really hard to just stop it right here because there's so
you know
much.
what? Fuck a part 2. Let's get into it right now.
No, we're not, bro. Honestly, we could if honestly, I don't think it ends. I've been doing a lot of research on this, and I don't think this rabbit hole ends. I think at the end of the day we could tie it. Well, I'm gonna end up tying it in 3 parts to so many things that you're already gonna be like, what? So I'm not even. We could probably make this like a 10, 15, 20, 30 part episode like thing on just this. So we're not going to do all that. I don't have the time for all that. I just thought it was interesting. Please let us know what you guys think.
Yeah, no, I seriously, I made a lot of jokes to it because I didn't know what the fuck this fool was talking about, and I just wanted to seem relevant. Sounded very intelligent, so that's pretty rare for you. But I was entertained, so I hope you guys were entertained too, because like the way that you framed it up and the way that you took us through that journey was pretty good. I'm actually excited to record number 2, number 3, all the way up to 50 if you want.
And it is going to take some time because I can go ahead and start talking about it right now, but I want to come with the facts. I don't want to come how I did with this one, as much facts as possible. It's going to take some time for me to gather that, so the next episode might take a few weeks or maybe even come next month. Just wait on it. It's not going to be a weekly thing like the rest of our episodes. This is going to be, that's why I said it's part of the Saturn series. I don't know how long it's going to take me to get to the next one, but we will get on it as soon as possible.
Don't be impatient. Be grateful for what we give you.
But yeah, hopefully this sparks some interest. And for some people who didn't know this, or people, I know some of you are gonna watch this and you did know this. Like I said, go ahead and fill in the blanks in the comments. Let me know some more stuff I left out, please.
Yeah, I'm actually excited for the comments because some of you have been getting really, really good in the comments with like your views and your perspective. So yeah, let us know what you think. Obviously, like I think it's interesting. I'm very big on like Greek mythology, so that was pretty cool. Kind of detour that we took, but yeah, man, that's crazy. I can't wait for part 2, part 3.
Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and end it. Have a good night. See y'all later.
Later.